Hey, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. We are Poe on the Call. I am Cris Rivers.
And I'm Mandy Mac.
Yes, and we are here with the amazing Ariel of Spinning Hearts Studio.
Yay! Hi guys, thanks so much for having me on. Excited to talk to you all.
Yes, truly a pleasure. Thank you so much for having a long day, then coming and joining us. I'm so excited to get to know you and learn about Spinning Hearts Studio and yourself.
Yeah. So I'm Ariel. I'll tell you a little bit of background about myself. I started dancing in fall of 2015. So in the pole dance world, I've been around a hot minute now. So next year will be 10 years for me. I started out after college at the studio that I now work at. They had only opened a few months before because it was kind of earlier in the pole dancing world, right? There was a lot fewer studios. So I went to an intro class and I fell in love and they never got rid of me. And I got certified and I've been teaching and competing for a pile of years now. I started stripping a couple years ago and now I'm a piece of furniture there and I'll never leave. And I love it.
Love it. Wow, 10 years at the studio. That's incredible.
Yeah, next year I'll be 10, which is a lot in the pole dancing world. That makes you a pole dancer that's been around for a while in this industry.
Mhm. Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty sure that's OG.
I know it's strange to think that. Like when I was starting, it was like bonkers to be able to do a shoulder mount into a brass monkey. And people were murdering their shoulders badly trying to learn twisted grip handsprings. Like there were no other tricks and no other skills as a dancer that made you important. Like that was
Yeah.
clutch. If you could twisted grip handspring, you had made it.
Yes.
Shoulders be damned, cuffs be damned.
That's so true.
Your handspring was a stripper ones, and I messed up my shoulder trying to get into it like so many others.
Yeah.
Oh. So how did you end up going from the transition of being a student to an instructor and then to a
Yeah. So I started competing, no, God, maybe about 2 years into pole dancing. I'd grown up as a gymnast, so that came pretty naturally. That was a good avenue for me to transition into once I was getting some experience as a student. And initially, I had no desire to teach. I actually started teaching when I took some of Sam Starr's classes up in New York in, God, maybe 18. I took some of her inverts class. She calls it invertible. She still teaches it now. It's like an intro to handstands class. And that was the first time that I realized, like, oh, this is something I could teach that people have no background in that I do. And it's something unique that I can bring to my studio space. And that became kind of my thought process from then on out. I just kept branching out into different avenues that I thought the studio needed and wasn't already a class offering that I had knowledge that I could bring and share to students. So I started out with handstands. I ended up taking over our flexibility classes. Then after that, I branched out into like low flow base work and floor work because that was a need at the time. We had a very tricks focused studio and people wanted more dance based work. And then I finally beat around the bush and finally got my X-Pole certification. For a long time, I didn't, so I wasn't teaching pole-specific classes. So I finally paid for that. And I started taking over the level 3 and the level 4 classes, which I do as well. So I started out with one class and expanded as I saw the need. And then I didn't start stripping until a couple of years ago. I actually grew up super religious. From like my teens to my mid 20s, I was like hella religious. Anyone out there who was like evangelical slash mainline Christian knows what I'm talking about. So I was like, oh, I don't do sexy dancing. Like I only go to the tricks classes. And I came out of the closet, I got divorced, and I stopped believing in that religion. And a couple of years after that, I decided to do my local club's amateur night, kind of for shits and giggles, to see if I thought I would like it and see if I would like the work, like the environment, because obviously getting paid for your hard-earned pole dancing skills is good. And I did. I liked it. I won my local amateur night. I had like all my students out there to support because they do it by cheering, and so they were very loud and noisy. And I kind of kept on them till they would hire me, and I've been stripping about 2 years now. And I liked it more than I thought I would. Anyone out there who's a stripper is definitely gonna laugh at like the pole fitness girly transition to the strip club and knows exactly how we are doing all the pole tricks, and people thinking they will throw us money for doing IE shows when the customers have no idea unless you're at a stage money club. But I made sure to be not like that pole fitness girly in the club. I did not want to piss people off, especially the vets. I knew enough about strip club culture from friends to like not be a dick when I went in. So I made sure to keep to myself, find out who people's regulars were, not bother them, just try to have good strip club etiquette. And anyone who gave me bits of advice, I would make sure to tip them. And I've been there 2 years. So that's kind of my story of how I went from just being a casual student to this being my job.
I love it.
I never. Go ahead.
Oh no, so for so many of us, like pole just becomes all encompassing. Like we figure out like in addition to this pole thing I'm doing, I'm also going to do this other pole thing.
So true.
Yeah. I thought about the transition from pole fitness back into the stripping world. I knew about strip culture, but I didn't even think about not going in there with this kind of mindset, this pole fitness mindset.
Yeah, I worked really hard to not be that pole fitness girl pissing off all the strippers because it's a whole stereotype, especially like post-pandemic, that pole fitness girls are like, ew, I don't want to touch the customers. I just want to do stage. And then wonder why nobody wants to give them money and why they don't last. Like the first time a customer does something vaguely inappropriate, they can't handle it and can't have good boundaries. And it's not a job that you're cut out for if that's the case, which is fine. It's not the competition environment. It's a strip club.
Right.
I made the reverse. I went from the strip club to the pole fitness, and it was it was very different having to really pay attention to my body and learn and not just rush into crap.
Yeah. And I went from strip club to pole fitness and back to strip club again. It's much different, but I do like going on the stage. I do go overboard and no one can stop me. I just love doing it. But yeah.
That's so fun. I will only throw big tricks if there's like good stage money, or some of my coworkers will like make the customers tip me for stage tricks and will cheer me on for stuff, especially for my bike. And then I will. Otherwise, you get leg hangs and you get jades, chopsticks, and teddies, and maybe a sad girl drop if you're lucky and you're watching.
That's my repertoire.
You have to have the go-to.
They think nothing is as good as a really fast outside leg hang at the top of the pole, spinning very fast.
I'll do a layback and just like live there.
Shining phoenix.
A phoenix.
Right.
Could you imagine? They'd be like, your legs look weird.
Have your go-tos that you can repeat throughout the night. When you start doing phoenixes, forget about it. Your night is over quick.
You're fucked.
Oh my god.
That's cool. That's cool that you guys all had come from club work too.
Yes.
I feel like that's a lot more common than the stereotype was a handful of years ago, right? So like I started pole dancing when it was still firmly in the like gross, not a stripper era. So I'm trying to set my phone somewhere. I may not be. If you guys post a video, sorry to all your viewers. I just gave them all motion sickness. But no, I'm glad to see that everything has come back around to not being as gross and like anti-sex work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree. There were a couple years where like it was hardcore, no stripping. Like this is what making it seem kind of stigmatized. And yourself, I'm glad we're kind of bringing more awareness to it. Like this is our history with pole dancing. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yes.
Definitely.
Right, that reminds me of this sweatshirt that I just got from Yes, a Stripper podcast.
Oh, I love that.
I just so happen to have it right here. Shout out to Yes, the Stripper podcast.
Competitions have you done, or what's like your favorite competition experience and all that good stuff?
Most of my competitions have been with PSO. I've done a couple, maybe just one small local one. I honestly don't even know if they're still having it. I've done Lehigh Valley Pole-a-thon many moons ago. I honestly don't even know if it's still a thing. But that was a really fun, smaller, more local competition. But I've done a lot of PSO. I always either do Liberty or Atlantic because they're in Philly and DC, which is, a couple hour drive for me in central PA. And when I compete, I do level 5. The last time I competed, I think was spring of 21. It's either 21 or 22. And I did level 5 exotic, and I was actually very proud of myself. I was second, so I was runner up to go to nationals. I didn't go to nationals, but that was fine. I was very happy with my placement. Yeah, and that was fun. So when they had announced that one, they were still going to have all the competitors wear masks on stage. So it must have been 21. And so I just made it part of my costume. I did like a femdom piece with a mask that had like gold spikes all over it. And they announced a week or two before the competition they weren't going to require it. And I said, absolutely not. I am not starting to worry about facial expressions 2 weeks out when I haven't had to worry about facial expressions as a dancer for 2 years. Fuck that. And I just kept on my mask for the competition so I didn't have to worry about facial expressions.
I love it. I didn't even think about that facial expressions during Corona era.
It was great. I didn't have all I had to do was like stare people down for my creepy routines, and that was enough.
Yeah, funny.
Just the eyes.
I love. Are you still performing? And you said the last competition was 2021. But do you still get to do performances?
Obviously I perform when I'm working at the club. I will sometimes do our local showcase that my studio does. I always MC as well. I haven't competed since then. I got a new day job a couple of years ago, and it's just very high demand, high hours of demand. I probably will next year. I have the bug back in me to compete again. So probably next year I'll enter again. I kind of vary what I focus on every few years, right? You can't only be a tricks or a competition person. So for a couple of years, it was business stuff and getting my own business off the ground. Then it was artistic skills and broadening my horizon there. And then it was figuring out club work and getting better at that avenue and sales skills, and stuff circles back around. So probably next year.
Yes, and in the meantime, you are judging competitions because that's where we met.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I was supposed to judge last year or so, and I was so sad. The morning that I was supposed to go down and judge, I woke up with like a 103 fever, and I had finally caught COVID, and I had to message PSO and be like, I am actively ill with COVID and delirious with a fever. I cannot come judge. That was the first time I was supposed to judge.
Oh, well, I'm glad that we had the judging experience together at PSO Atlantic.
Agreed. Good time.
You're part of PSO traveling judges as well.
Yeah.
Yay, that's so exciting. My goodness, you just always go. Teaching classes, stripping, day job, traveling.
Yeah, I'm a massive workaholic.
Oh my gosh.
Unashamedly.
Well, maybe we'll ask now, do you have any free time? Like, do you do anything fun in your free time?
When I have free time, yes. My latest hobby outside of like my work lately, I started back up at adult gymnastics, which I decided that I refuse to ever make a dime at. I will not coach. I will not choreograph. I will not be a gymnastics judge. No, that is hobby only for Aerial. There is no paid work in gymnastics. And it's so much fucking fun. Anyone who follows me, I'm just aerial.poledancer, spelled the gymnastics way on Instagram, AERIAL. I should post more like pole dancing and work videos. It is 99% me doing like mediocre adult gymnastics and my pet rats. But that's my like main hobby right now. I actually just this past weekend was in Wisconsin at an all adults gymnastics camp for the weekend. So there was like 100 adults trying their hardest at gymnastics for a whole weekend. It's run by former Olympian Chelsea Memel, and it's awesome. Highly recommend. So that's my main hobby currently. Oh, I also do cross stitching. Oh my gosh, if you do broadcast this, let me show people this. And if anybody wants to randomly buy some of these, I have some. I do inappropriate cross stitching, and this one says I lap dance for Satan. It's in my dining room.
Yes, that was a good night. Let me stop. Love it.
Be like a hot seat.
Too funny. We'll have information in the comments, y'all. So make sure you check it out, the notes and everything. I did want to ask a question that wasn't on it. Because if you have the gymnastics history, have you been able and found the way to start incorporating it into pole? Do you even like doing that?
I do some. I have for competition's sake thrown in like handsprings into routines before to do like a front or back handspring on the floor. And that's always fun because in the gymnastics world, that's not very hard. And at pole dance competitions, everyone loses their fucking mind. So it's a very satisfying way to have a very good moment of crowd engagement for something that, for me as an individual, is like well within my repertoire. But I'm a giant weenie as a pole dancer. My students all think I'm fearless and think I can do everything. And the answer is I've been doing these things for a very long time. I learn new things very slow, and I think everything's horrifying. So I do like dynamic skills have always been easier for me. Inversion's always been fine. Anything hands related is going to be fine, right? So I'd say the body awareness, yes, but I don't have the interest for some of the really bonkers dynamic stuff out there. Like anything that like Bethany Finley does, more power to her. I'm not doing that.
Cool. And you're right. Like, not I don't want to say a small gymnastic trick like that because to me that's a big thing, but it's huge when you do it in a pole competition.
Yeah.
Right. Right. I'm always like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, everyone loses their fucking mind. It's awesome.
Yes, and if it's a point of conduct competition, you get extra points for doing that acrobatic stuff.
Oh. Well, if I ever do one of them, I'll have to do all of them then.
Well, then leading into that, would you say what was your favorite pole dance style? The more acrobatic.
Actually, my favorite style would be more like low flow kind of work. I really like low flow. I like that it can lean more experimental. I'm doing that as a series right now in my low flow class. I have my students doing a choreographed piece to Lodic, a song by Lodic called Phlegm. It's just weird ass noises for like 4 minutes straight. That's syncopated. There is no lyrics. The only rhyme or reason is that shit gets added every, 8 measures, and then shit goes away every 8 measures. There is no other structure. And that's a lot of fun. I really like the opportunity to do more experimental kind of stuff. And I do like trick work. I would say my favorite would be the two blended. I like seeing work and doing work that's very interesting artistically, but also has hard moves thrown in it. If I don't like doing where I have a dance section and then watch me do some tricks and then I'll get back into character. My favorite thing to do is blend the two. So if I can do like low flow or aerial stuff too, that leans artistic or experimental and incorporates my harder skills. I know that's kind of a vague answer, but I would say that's my favorite style.
Like the hardest thing ever to do. That's my favorite style.
There's always things to learn. My favorite style to watch is comedy. I can't come up with that shit at all. I might be like somewhat a funny person like to talk to or my individual personal life. I could never come up with these comedy routines, much less the props and everything. Absolutely not. To watch, I love comedy. Shit at it though. I've never done a comedy.
Comedy is so fun. I can't even imagine how much like planning goes into that.
Right? Yeah, shout out to the lady that did the Barbie piece at Atlantic. I was dying. I still tell my students about that.
Yes.
Goodness, I love Barbie. Yes. So, what is training like for you with the gymnast history and how, like, any tips for training?
Yeah, so I don't train nearly as much as I have in the past because I teach a lot right now. I teach 2 nights a week. I strip once or twice a month. I have the day job. But when I am training, I caution people against trying things without understanding the basis of the prerequisites of a movement. I think in general, that's the best thing you can do for yourself as a dancer in training. Everyone knows you need to work on endurance and strength and flexibility and how to break down tricks, right? Everybody knows that who's been to anything. But especially once you've been in it for a couple of years, anything new you want to learn, look at it and figure out what the prerequisite and the components are. How much shoulder flexion does this demand? How much side bend do I need to have? What's my final point of contact? Is that going to be risky on this muscle group or that? How do I train to prepare for that? So like, for example, if you're working on Russian splits, obviously you need to have a good split. That's pretty inherent in the move. But how's your strength to come back out of your fully flexed leg position? Like, can your hamstring handle that load? Or you're going to end up with like a hamstring tear. So I both encourage my students and myself train for what you're actually going to be doing on the pole. Think about what you're working on, work in those planes, work on your active flexibility, work on your ability to come out of moves, or you're just going to end up injured. Obviously, we all want to get stronger. We all want to do more moves. We all want to learn new stuff, but put a big emphasis in your training on injury prevention as well. Because we're all trying to be in this for a long time, right? This is a sport and an activity that we can do as long as our bodies will hold out. But if we don't set ourselves up well, we're going to get injured too early and our careers will be cut needlessly short when they could have been longer. So I do a lot of cross training with my handstands class, my flex, my gymnastics. My explosive pole dancing has gotten so much better since I started back up as a gymnast again. So I would say cross training is like my main thing I do for training. I work 2 days a week at the studio. I usually have gymnastics one night a week for a couple hours. And then I work like a couple shifts a month. So in any given week, I train/teach between like 5 to 10 hours. And I would say like that's the max. Like if you're trying to train more than that, unless like that's your full-time job, be careful.
Right, because this is strenuous shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was quite a lot to digest. You're 100% right. Break it down and want to do this for the long run.
Yes.
Right. Do you want to be burnt out at like your late 20s or early 30s or keep getting better into your 50s? You have two paths. Pick the choice that speaks to you.
Yes. Love this advice. And in that same vein, do you have any pole philosophies that you wanted to share with us?
Oh, yeah. So my biggest thing is as long as it's not unsafe, it's good. Right. So if I'm teaching, and when I'm first teaching people, I kind of teach them for the generic, kind of pretty, controlled, whatever it is, for moves or dance or what have you. Start with what would be the basics of that style and branch out from there. But as long as you're not hurting yourself or putting yourself at like needless injury risk by trying to like eat shit out of a move, if you want to do it some other way, like rock on. What works for me might not work for you, the next person. All our bodies are going to be different. Figure out what does work for you, what doesn't work for you. And as long as it's safe, have at it. I am very anti everyone has to learn a certain move or everyone has to do this in the same way. No, fuck that. There's 8 billion people in the world. We're not all going to do it the same way. My biggest one is inverts. I allow people to come to my advanced classes without a traditional invert, as long as they have tried to work on that first, because you shouldn't never work on it. But if they try and it's not for their body type, if they can do controlling descending inverts from like a side grip to a pretzel or what have you, absolutely. There's very few things you can do without that regular invert. Like, yeah, you might not fonji without a shoulder mount. Who the fuck cares? There's plenty of other stuff you can learn. Just don't do the fonji. So there's no bad pole dancing except for excessively dangerous pole dancing.
Yes, love this philosophy. I also follow that philosophy. Right, because everyone's body is different too. And like I'm always so surprised at like the different things that students will do when they try to copy what I just did.
Yeah.
But it's still cute. Like it's still cute.
Yeah.
It's safe.
Yeah. Exactly. I had my students last night said they wanted to work on Bird of Paradise. So all I wrote on the mirror, because I like to write what we're working on in the mirror that day, was BOPLOL, because that is one of the only moves I've ever injured myself on. I was a baby pole dancer who was very dumb and thought that I should just keep doing the hard move forever, and definitely gave myself an injury that I recovered from just fine. But they're like, was it that bad? I'm like, look, even the intro position for this move sucks ass. Yes, it's bad. They jump up and they're like, oh God, I told you. But if you could do it, more power to you.
Right. All you have to do is just rearrange your internal organs.
Yeah, it's literally not problematic at all.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry to hear about that injury though. That's important to bring up that you know, like not doing the thing over and over again to
Okay.
injure yourself. Yeah. To do maybe the
Yeah.
other side, even though it's
Yeah,
sucky.
yeah. 3 to 5 trial max for really hard new moves. You should not be
Mhm.
trying to do a super hard thing more than 3 to 5 times. Your body's done.
Yeah.
Don't force yourself into it just because you want that Instagram picture.
Yes, that's exactly what I was doing. It's actually on my Instagram. If you scroll back far enough, it's the only video I have of me doing a Bird of Paradise. And after I cut the video is when I realized that I had strained my rotator cuff. So it looks hype on Instagram, and I left it up so that people can see it if they want to see the move I got injured.
No. Oh my gosh. That sucks. Like the memory.
Yeah.
Post it and use it as a teachable moment. You
Yeah.
see,
I
this is
do it regularly. I'm like, see, don't do this. This was like my 15th rep of the night.
Right. Like hashtag not worth it.
I should make that the caption. I should go back and edit it.
Hmm.
I think Instagram lets us download our videos if we post today.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my
right?
goodness.
I don't know.
So tricks. Do you have a favorite one?
Favorite pole trick? Oh, I would have to say it's a tie between doing Pegasus and doing Jalegra. I love both of those moves. They're definitely favorites.
I forgot about Pegasus.
Pegasus, but I'm trying to think of Jalegra.
The combination of Allegra and Jade split where your bottom elbow is wrapped around the pole and you have your top leg towards you and you're out in the split. It's just like this. I don't know why this doesn't help, Chris.
I think I tried that the other day from a broken doll, and I was
I
like,
was
what the
gonna say, Chris, we usually do it broken doll, Jalegra, or Jalegra broken doll.
Yeah. It's like, if does broken doll not suck enough? Have you considered
Right.
Jalegra?
While you're here, you might as well.
While you're here.
funny. I think
That's always how I feel.
I fell into
I actually teach Jalegra from outside leg hang. I teach it either from inside or outside leg hang, and I demo both to my students. But if you are twisty, bendy, consider the outside leg hang entrance. You take your arm and shove it way up your knee pit and wrap the elbow, and then your contact points are on, and you can like consider moving forwards before you load the whole elbow. It's a big twist, but it works.
That sounds amazing.
Are you writing it down? I'll talk you through all my steps. All right, I want anyone who only hears this video and has no idea what Jalegra is on the podcast, please try to follow these steps and post your results and see what happens with audio only.
Right, audio only.
Do you want me to go through the steps, Chris?
If you want, yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
I'll write
outside leg hang. Take your inside arm up under your leg and grab the pole above your knee.
Okay.
Yeah, that way, Mandy. Wrap your outside arm open and elbow bind around the pole beneath you. Take your inside arm off the pole, pull the inside leg towards your face. And that's your whole, point of contact position for your Jalegra. So then consider pulling the outside knee pit towards your face to release that contact point and assess how your shoulder does. And then maybe extend that leg back and it's your Jalegra.
This is going to be painfully fun.
The nice thing about Jalegra is your exit is exactly the same as your entrance. So I always teach it by you can do like step 1, 2, and 3, decide that you hate it and go back the exact same way you came in. You never have to keep committing to going further.
Too funny.
Oh my gosh, Cris, I loved the picture you just posted of your broken doll. So this is going to be awesome to do right after it or before it. I don't know.
I stayed away from Allegra because of, I've told you, my cracked rib in my strip club days. But
yeah.
It's like an adventure.
This one's less. It's less.
Because it just sucks more than Allegra. So, yeah. I'll see. I don't know if I have a nice photo of my Jalegra to send to you guys from like a nice photo shoot to use the promo. If I don't have a nice one to send for the promo, I can just find like a shitty studio one to send to Mandy so you can see.
Yes, that's
yes. Well, what is your least favorite pull trick?
It's your pole nemesis.
Anything back assisted that's upright. Fuck that. I do not do it. Oh, and tied. I also sign off and do not do cross ankle release / normal descending angel. Fuck that. Way too high of risk of injury potential. No bailout possibility. Should not be a level 2 move. And I've never found anything I can't do from a cross knee release. So fuck that. I will never do it. That and upright back assisted moves. I don't do either. Nope. People can demo it. If I'm a student in class, I'm like, I love that for you. I will do something else over here.
I love it. You're 100% right though. That can I think of the name? It is easily to get hurt from it and just fall.
Yeah. Both of those are not worth the injury risk.
That's one of my favorites. I could live in that trick.
Yes.
Which one? Descending angel?
Cross ankle release. Not the cross knee though. Not the cross knee.
Not cross knee? Are you anti-cross knee?
Yes.
Oh, that's so funny. That's my main top removal move at the club. I'll unhook my bra and then get in a cross knee release and take off my top. Yep.
Yes.
Love it. Mine is a thigh hold and then rip off the shirt.
It's a what hold? A thigh hold?
Upside down thigh hold and I pull off.
That's a good one. See, there's your comedy piece. I've always said that would be a funny one. Do like a comedically bad job stripping. You could be in like a middle thigh hold and get stuck in your shirt and have to slide down. How great would that be?
Like, no.
Need a new customer if they help you fix it.
Yeah. Can someone stop me?
Yeah.
Help.
I've been trapped. I've fallen and I can't get up.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I used to hate
that
that.
Would be a comedic act.
That'd be so fun.
Maybe. I used to, you're trying to be sexy and then like out of nowhere something happens and you're not so sexy anymore.
Oh yeah, I broke a shoe on stage relatively recently. I went to do a heel clap and it was a whole lot louder than it should have been, and I cracked my platform straight through my stage set.
No.
I was just like, didn't go flying. I was like, please let nobody get a brain injury while I'm up here doing my stage set.
You're like, do I keep going?
I did. I was like, you would get laying on my back leg weights. Right. Shoulder rolls and sexy push-ups and nothing in the air.
Yes.
Yeah. You got to keep going to the end of the song.
And then we sexy crawl away.
That's pretty much what I did.
And someone there has a foot fetish and you just gave them what they want.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, man, too bad I don't have anyone I know of that I can sell my other shoe to tonight. Oh my God, speaking of, let me show you, you guys will appreciate this. My makeup brush holder. One of my shoes of the like buddy that I broke the partner to this shoe. And if you rip off the top of your shoe, certain pleasers are compartmentalized on the inside.
That's so
depending
cool.
on the line, and they make perfect makeup brush holders.
Recycling at its
Yes.
Right, I've got some busted shoes. I need to do something with them.
If they have the segments, makeup brush holder. If they don't, they make really good little succulent planters.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I should definitely do that. That sounds like a fun craft project.
yes, it does. Stealing it. No. Pleaser. I love it. Planter pleaser.
Yep. I couldn't buy one from me. I sold it at the studio for a couple of bucks.
Hell yeah. Well, what type of, do you use any hand or pole body grip?
A little bit. I try to stay away from excessive amounts of it because you never know what your environment's going to be like for your gig or for your act, right? I'm dry on the body. I like glycerin-based ones, either like this more subtle dew points or God, who made it? Is it a dew point lotion that's like green and comes in a clear bottle? I like that. It's honestly the same as Cornhuskers lotion though. If you're dry, those are good. I'll use a scant amount of dry hands on my hands because they're a little sweaty, but not a ton. I try to steer people away from the highly adhesive pole grips. I think that they will not teach you what you need to learn in the long run. If you're trying to do static rotations, you're fucked. So, but yeah, I'm an old school dry hands pole girly.
Nice. And another point for dry hands.
Yeah, I'm sure it's been a common one.
Yes. But we get to hear about a lot of different stuff, so it's always pretty cool. It is nice. And you're right, sometimes with certain grips, you don't get to learn the fundamentals of gripping that you need.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. For a while, we had a handful of students using this aerosol adhesive spray. Oh, it's so bad. It strips some of the chrome off of some of our poles as well, whatever it's made out of. Yeah, we have bald spots on a couple of our poles now. And I tried to lovingly steer my students away from using that.
I still have it. I stopped using it because it was tearing my skin like while I was doing the pole. Grateful that but it was some rough shit.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Right. As a studio owner, whenever I hear it, I'm like, who is using it? Right. One time it was left on the poles and I had to climb up all 4 of our poles and like spray and let it sit.
Yeah.
And then wipe it. It took like an hour.
It's so hard to get off, and it like embeds itself in your rag. So even if you like soak the shit out of your pole with alcohol, it just keeps like thinning out. Oh, I hate that stuff. I have lovingly gone to students very quietly and been like, so you're a lot stronger than you think, and I'd like you to consider not using
it. Right. Or if you do, please wipe it down repeatedly.
Right. Yeah.
Hard to come out skin cells.
Right, and like watch out for your skin.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I feel like it stuck my pant leg to my leg at one point. My leggings were like stuck. Yeah.
Yep. Right after your training session, you'd put your clothes on and like everything's cooking.
Yeah.
Good times. Kramers.
That's what it is. I cannot remember what it was called.
OMG, I have.
I don't remember either.
That's 100% what it is. It's like a lighter bottle with maybe blue print on it.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
Yes, that's it. Oh my god. All right, so anti-Kramers ad here. That's my least favorite. Sorry, Kramers. I'm sure you're not as great for other things.
Oh, I switched to monkey hands.
We started getting that at my studio, and I'm not a fan. I mean, I'll take people using the monkey hands over the craners, so I'll pick my battle.
I will say, I do the gluey has helped immensely with the dynamic tricks, especially under the knee pits and stuff like that. Because
Yeah, time plays.
I sweat a lot, and it for some reason it's the one of the only things that the sweat doesn't go through yet.
Right. There's definitely a time and a place for everything. Like if I was trying to do a photo shoot of like, oh, I don't know, some like a brass bridge or something, or like a brass monkey leg hang where you take everything off the brass monkey knee pit. Like even I might, use some extra adhesive for it. So,
Yeah. Yes.
How do you feel about pole and nutrition? I know you're not a nutritionist, but do you think that they're important together?
Yes, I am. My students are all probably dying if they're listening to this because they know that I live on trash and caffeine. To the point that now if I like start drinking water in class, they'll like applaud me for drinking water. I will absolutely roll up to my evening classes drinking more coffee. Yes, there is. I feel worse when I eat badly, but I absolutely live on a diet of like trash. It's not good. I feel better when I eat healthier and eat more fruits and vegetables. And if I don't try to train the morning after having a glass of alcohol the night before. Yeah, there definitely is. The healthier I eat, the better I feel. I'm just bad about it.
Thank you for honestly sharing.
Right, I love it. I love getting everyone's different perspectives. Some people are really strict and regimented on their eating, and some people are more nonchalant. So it just goes to show you that everyone's different.
Yes.
Too funny.
I think, oh, what are some things that are coming soon for you?
For me personally, so our studio is hosting Greta Pontarelli. It'll be, way in the past by the time this airs, but Tuesday, June 18th, so just in a few days, we're having Greta Pontarelli at our studio for some workshops. We have her periodically. We have that coming up. What else do I have personally coming up soon? Oh, I am going to do, it's way early to register yet, but I will be doing my first gymnastics competition as an adult in 15 years. Next spring, there's going to be some local to our area, so that'll be coming up. And just my personal life, I'm very excited to go on vacation this fall. In August, I'm going to Canada, and then in October, I'm going to Sweden. So I'm looking forward to those.
So excited. You got a lot coming up in the next year.
I do, yes, it'll be a good year.
Yes, which leads me to where do you hope to see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
Oh, this is a good one. I have whole opinions on this. So my goal in the next few years is to quit my day job. As you heard me talk about being a massive workaholic, I am a short-term workaholic. My goal is to pay off my place and then transition into making pole like my full-time job so that I can teach more, travel more, dance more, compete more, and transition into that being more my full-time work. So that is hard answer. That's absolutely where I see myself in 5 to 10 years, is not having a day job and being a full-time dancer and instructor.
Yes, I love that for you. I am slowly making that transition right now. I can tell you, wrecking and scary.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, can I pay off my place first? Because that make me feel a lot better.
Yes, I get to see that for you in the next couple of years.
Yes.
Yes.
Love
Yeah.
it.
How do I feel like?
Well, I think it was just because we went through them all.
I don't think, did I talk about our studio at all? I can talk about our studio a little bit quick.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about spinning hearts.
So
Yeah.
I don't own the studio. I am just an instructor that's been there for a million years. It's owned by Tammy and Heather Hartman. They are sisters. They are our studio owners. We have 2 locations. Our Instagram is Spinning Hearts. We have Spinning Hearts website. We're on MindBody. We have a location in Harrisburg suburbs, and then we have a location in Camp Hill, which is also Harrisburg suburbs, but on the other side of the river here. We have 2 very nice studio spaces. We have a huge variety of stuff we teach: pole, lyra, belly dance. I do handstands, flex, chair, twerk. God, I'm sure I'm missing something. Burlesque, aerial silks, or not aerial silks, aerial yoga. Oh, if I'm missing anybody's main thing, I apologize. But we have a huge class offering with a wide variety, which is really cool. We have a wide variety of instructors too. Intentionally, everybody's teaching and kind of own dance style is pretty unique. So we try to serve a wide variety of people that way. So if you're in the area, hit us up. If we've never seen you before, Tammy and Heather will want you to do an intro class so they know that you're not going to try to kill yourself in my level 4. But outside of that, we welcome drop-ins. We aren't a like semester-based studio. You can do drop-in, buy packages, what have you. So we are fairly popular for travelers coming through the area. And I had the pleasure for a little while of having one of Mandy's students at the studio. She was the best. I laughed because I was at the competition and Mandy's like, spinning hearts. I know of you. And I was like, who like, nobody knows of us.
Right, yes. Molly Selick, she's now teaching at Pole in the Wall. You know, she had mentioned you like months ago, and I like put it in my back pocket. So when I was sitting next to you, I was like, wait a second.
I was like, you know about us?
I love it. It's such a small world. It's awesome. Let's see. Oh, you mentioned the types of classes that you teach. Do you teach any online classes?
Not currently. I taught a blended format during the pandemic. Obviously, we went all online, and then we slowly increased our capacity back in the studio. I got away from teaching online when we went back fully in person because I could just teach more effectively doing one format or the other. Blended is hard as an instructor. To give your online students and your in-person students both a good class where you can pay enough attention to them is challenging. Even just like camera angles and the way you cue has to be really different. So currently, no. I've done online privates with people before. I'm always down to do that. But I don't currently have like a permanent online class offering. But you can find me Mondays and Wednesdays at Spinning Hearts for doing anything from flex to handstands, level 3, 4 base work, and other stuff randomly. Every now and then I fill in other stuff.
Yes, I love it. For all our pole dance travelers out there, there's a lot of you.
Yes. Right, to anyone who's going to PSO Liberty. Are you going to PSO Liberty?
Probably not. I forget what I had going on that weekend. What is PSO Liberty? Do one of you know on the top of your head?
July 20th?
Or 20th. I know I was going to. There was something I have already planned that's happening that weekend. I don't remember what it was, but I probably won't be down.
Okay.
I know. I'm sorry.
Town. Let me stop.
Yeah, but no, if anybody ever wants to train on their way through, we are just about 2 hours outside of either Atlantic or Liberty. And if you reach out to the studio email, it's on our website, it's on Google Maps, that or the phone, you'll get Tammy or Heather. And we have people do that pretty frequently. We have a really nice space too. So it's a nice space for competition training.
That's so good to know. I'll definitely have to plan better next time.
There you go. Come hang out.
Yes.
I know we keep saying we're gonna travel, and you're doing it. We're gonna travel.
Do it. Yeah. Come hang out if you want. If you want to travel and work, come hang out with us.
Yes. Right. That's how you make it happen.
Yeah.
Give and receive.
Hey, people for workshops, I will definitely reach out to stuff.
Yeah, totally. I love trying to get people in for workshops, especially, like I said, my big thing is trying to expand kind of what we offer and bring people in that I think have a lot to add outside of our own expertise. So absolutely. And I haven't travel workshop before, but I'm more than happy to. If anybody ever wants to host me out there, please hit me up if you ever want my flavor of instruction. I am very good at breaking things down. Like I said, I have like an anatomy and like healthcare adjacent background. So I'm good with spotting and breaking things down, understanding your anatomy. So always happy to if anyone's ever interested.
Yeah,
Yes.
especially to meet her 5-year goal of doing it all pole dancing.
Right?
Yes. You're definitely always welcome at Pole in the Wall.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm gonna pick this up sometime.
Yes. But I think that was all of the questions.
So,
Last one. Is there anything else you would like to share with the community about yourself, about the studio, anything coming up for you, any tips, anything at all?
I'm gonna tell everyone out there at large that's pole dancers, just keep doing the damn thing as long as it's right for you. Like, if you get sick of doing tricks, stop doing hard tricks and start doing wacky ass artistic shit. If you're bored of competing, stop competing and figure something else out, right? If you want to start trying to gig, have at it. There are people to watch any bizarre stuff that you can come up with. I promise you there's someone out there that's going to be into it, whether it's like classic or traditional, kind of sexy, or you're like one of my favorite acts. I saw a lady with a giant strap on do a ring toss, and it was amazing. So just keep doing the damn thing. As long as it feels right for you and you want to keep doing it, there's an avenue out there for you, regardless of what it is. I don't care if you never invert, you can come up with a far better performance than somebody who's doing the hardest tricks from like at least a audience perspective. Just keep doing the damn thing. Find your niche. There's tons of them out there.
I love that you said that. It is so true. It is so true.
Mhm. Beautiful advice.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Ariel, for yes. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share your wonderful journey with us and all of the inspiring advice that you gave.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. I love the opportunity just to talk about pole dancing at large and my own personal journey and everything in that. Thanks for having me.
Hell
Really are.
yeah.
Now you have to eat, you have to rest. You've had such a long day, but we came straight to
Oh,
us.
that's hilarious. What a funny thing for me to suggest.
Well, hopefully we'll all get to pull together soon or judge or be together at some point in
Oh, no.
person.
Yeah, I would love it.
But
Oh,
until then, everyone, thank you so much for listening to or watching this episode of Pull on the Call podcast. My name is Mandy Mac.
and I am Cris Rivers. Oh, gotta put it in view.
I'm Erica, and my day job changed to my compression socks because I was driving all over the city
Yeah.
today.
Compression socks for the win.